Good evening and welcome to Wildcat News. I'm Jessica Kroc.
And I'm Garrett Lee.
Tonight's show will take a look into Dia de los Muertos celebrations, the increasing enrollment rate here at Weber State University, and today's midterm election.
We'll tell you all about it when we come back in just a moment. This last Sunday could potentially be our last daylight saving time. In March of this year, the United States Senate passed the Sunshine Protection Act to keep daylight saving time the permanent standard time. It has reached a standstill in the House of Representatives where it waits for a vote. If this bill is passed, we will no longer fall back in November and have a full year of daylight saving time. In order to be enacted for 2023, the bill needs to be voted on by the end of the calendar year.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is hitting it hard this season with outbreaks much earlier than anticipated and record number of cases throughout the country. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a health advisory warning that these outbreaks could cause stress on healthcare systems. Infants, young children, and older adults are the most at-risk population. If you or a loved one are experiencing fevers, coughing, wheezing, or difficulty breathing, it is recommended to get in contact with your healthcare provider.
On a lighter note, something else is in the air. Do you know what it is, Jessica?
I mean, in the summer months it was pollen, but I guess the holiday spirit?
You're exactly right. We sent our reporter Matt Harris to see what holiday spirit Weber State students are feeling. Take a look.
I'm here at the Shepherd Union Building at Weber State University. The first snow of the season is now falling, and the calendar turns over to November. My question for Weber State students is November Thanksgiving season or is it Christmas season? We're going to ask a few people to find out. The first snow of the season fell on Weber State's campus just last Tuesday, and the white-capped mountains to the east signaled to some an early onset of Yuletide cheer.
Christmas. It just started snowing. I immediately turned on All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. Like 100% Christmas.
Right now, I'm definitely thinking of Christmas because of the snow, and I love snow, so yeah. I also was playing Christmas music earlier.
Of course, it wasn't the same for everyone, as other students still turned their thoughts towards a school break, getting together with family and friends, giving thanks, and gathering for the biggest meal of the year.
I'm immediately thinking for Thanksgiving next, because I just love the food and the environment around it.
It's just too early for Christmas. I'm tired of the Christmas music going on too early. It needs to happen later.
And not to forget about the diversity of WSU's student body, there were others still, like this student, to whom the holiday season had a whole different meaning.
Kwanzaa is something that, the Black community celebrates too, bringing unity for our community, and I guess we just kind of celebrated one another to promote like family and just different principles. So we have 7 principles. I can't remember all of them, but my favorite one is Imani and Umoja.
No matter who you are or what you celebrate, the holiday season is a guarantee of joy for all. And there's certainly one holiday that everybody on campus will be looking forward to, December 16th, when the semester ends. I'm Matt Harris for Wildcat News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Matt. I know a few Weber students who are definitely feeling that Thanksgiving spirit right now. And while rain might stop some events, it certainly didn't stop WSU's 18th annual Turkey Triathlon and 5K. Last weekend, 150 participants ran 5K around campus, biked 10K, and swam 300 yards in the Swenson Pool to win the grand prize of a frozen turkey. Now that's very convenient for this time of year.
The great thing about all of our race events is that they are really meant for anyone. So if you're a beginner, if you've never done it before, it's a great way to get into it.
While the triathlon is over, Weber's next race, the Leprechaun Dash 5K, will be held in March of next year. If you'd like to get involved, visit Campus Recreation's website where they have activities year-round.
Campus Recreation has a lot of fun stuff going on, huh?
Oh yeah, I was actually going to tell you, there was actually a turkey that ran that triathlon. And honestly, didn't win any medals because disqualified and had some very foul play. Knee slap, 1, 2, 3.
The many cultures here at Weber State allow for a multitude of holiday celebrations. This month is actually National Native American Heritage Month. The University of Utah started off the month with their commitment to supporting tribal communities of the state by offering a first-of-its-kind four-year Native scholarship. The in-state scholarship will be available to members of the 8 federally recognized indigenous tribes of the state.
Wow, that actually sounds like an incredible opportunity. There were some additional celebrations here at Weber State last week. Let's take it to Windsor Moore to show us how students celebrated Dia de los Muertos.
Saludos a todos, estoy aquí en el Shepherd Union. Hoy estamos celebrando el Día de los Muertos. Estamos celebrando con concursos de maquillaje, actividades y con caprichos. Vamos a buscar lo que está pasando.
Sí, hace creo que eran como 12 años, una persona de aquí de la Universidad de Weber State empezó a hacer esta celebración. Pasó una tragedia en su familia y ella empezó a traer los Días de los Muertos y cada año va subiendo la ampliedad de los eventos aquí en la universidad. Para mí el significado es como una forma de recordar a los que ya han pasado. Hay muchas gentes que pasan y no vuelven a pasar dentro de una mente. Es una forma de honrar la vida que ellos vivieron, la celebración que ellos tuvieron, el impacto que ellos tuvieron aquí cuando estaban vivos y más para recordar lo que ellos dieron a nosotros.
Para celebrar ese día, el Grupo Iniciativa Hispana coordinó actividades diferentes como decorando calaveras de caramelo, pan de muerto, chocolate caliente, pintura de la cara y el concurso de la cantina.
Lo que a mí me gustaría que otra gente supiera del Día de los Muertos es que no es solamente algo que tiene que ver con tristeza. El Día de los Muertos es una celebración de felicidad, de vida. Que entonces cuando la gente ve el Día de los Muertos dicen, oh no, o brujería, o como cosas así que son malas, tiene una connotación mala de eso. Pero cuando nosotros hablamos de Día de los Muertos hablamos de cosas buenas, estamos hablando de poder celebrar a la gente que no puede estar con nosotros ya y por lo menos tener un día en la tierra nuestra que podemos estar con ellos cuando ellos no están con nosotros.
Qué divertido es celebrar la cultura mexicana. Gracias por acompañarnos. Soy reportera Windsor Moore de Weber State. Hasta luego.
Thanks for that, Windsor. In some more somber news, the husband of Nancy Pelosi was assaulted in his home on October 28th. 42-year-old David DePape was arrested and charged but has not pled guilty. Paul Pelosi has recently been released from the hospital after making a full recovery.
This past Wednesday, 24-year-old Nicholas Cruz was formally given a life sentence and pleading in jail after pleading guilty to 17 murders during the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting in 2018. The jury ruled out the idea of a death penalty unanimously in weeks previous to the sentencing.
When tragedies occur, communities often come together to mourn, show support, or to celebrate life. Let's go to Jace Campbell to see how Ogden has celebrated the life of former Mayor Brent Taylor.
I'm here at the world's largest free-flying flag, which is located just east of North Ogden, Utah in Coldwater Canyon. The flag measures at 158 by 78 feet, but there's a bigger story behind this flag.
It was 4 years ago this November when North Ogden Mayor Brent Taylor was shot and killed in Afghanistan. Taylor had been the mayor for 5 years at the time of his 4th deployment. He was shot and killed by an insider within the group he was sent to help. Now every Veterans Day the flag is hung as a tribute for him and all the fallen heroes.
The first year that the major was hung, I didn't do the hike, and the next year came up with my family. And until you get to the top and see the flag, you don't realize how beautiful it is.
I always like the fact that it is part of Veterans Day, just to remind us about the freedoms and what we enjoy as far as part of our country. And it gives a reminder both visibly, but also physically when you're doing the hike about some of the sacrifices and different things that people have made as well. And so I like to come up and just take some time and think about Veterans Day and those people that sacrificed and made it possible so that I can have the freedoms that I enjoy in the country.
The flag was carried up the canyon by over 100 volunteers and flown across by a drone to attach to the other side of the canyon. The hike is around 3 miles round trip and offers 3 different levels of difficulty. Once you reach the top of the hike, you can get a fantastic view of the enormous flag and the city of Ogden. The flag is also hung up in Pleasant Grove Canyon over the first couple weeks of July.
The flag will be up for the first 2 weeks in November. For more information about the flag, visit followtheflag.org. To hike the trail, just Google the 2750 North Trailhead for parking right next to the trail entrance. From North Ogden, Utah, I'm Jace Campbell.
Thank you for that, Jace.
Now, who's ready for some sports? If you haven't heard about Weber State's Spirit Squad, you're definitely missing out. This Spirit Squad is time defending 5-time co-ed national champion, and now they're getting noticed on social media too. With the help of traveling videographer Nick Prack, clips on Facebook Live, Instagram, and other platforms showing the team in action have upwards of 350,000 views. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of views. Head coach Summer Willis said that the newfound exposure is showing everyone what the Wildcats are all about, and that's definitely something to show pride about.
It's fun to watch them be able to see the skill that's involved. A lot of people think of cheerleading and, don't necessarily attach it with all the skill that's involved. And so when they're seeing these videos, they're like, wow, that's some serious strength, that's some serious talent. And, it's kind of piquing interest because they're able to see them do things that they don't get to see all the time.
In addition to wowing fans at every football game, the squad will compete to defend their status as the top cheer team in the nation next spring when they head back to the Cheer National Championship.
It is so exciting to see the Spirit Squad get some well-deserved attention. In other sports news, the Weber State men's basketball team had their home opener this past Wednesday. The Wildcats hosted Adams State for an exhibition game on November 2nd, with a decent turnout from both devoted fans and students of all ages. The Wildcats played a good game, especially with the unprecedented snow Ogden got that day.
I'm really excited for this season. New head coach, a lot of new players, a lot of excitement. I've been in the gym here and a lot of energy and excitement. So I'm super excited to see how they come together in jail this year. New energy, new excitement. I'm just kind of excited to see how they start to mesh together and become a team.
The Cats came out to defeat Adams State 88-76. Weber State will be back at the D on November 10th against Western Colorado. So get out there and support your Wildcats for a great night of basketball.
Have you made any plans to bring your signs to those basketball games anytime soon?
I have. A few of them are printed, but more are coming on the way.
I'm honestly really excited to see them. All right, now let's take it over to Matt Harris with even more news on the Wildcat sports. So take it away.
Thank you. And folks, it was a big-time week for Wildcat athletics across the board. Starting on the gridiron, Sacramento State came to town undefeated and the #2 team in the country. Well, they sure looked like it. The Hornets never trailed, taking down the Wildcats in Stewart Stadium 33-30. It was a tough day for Bronson Barron as the quarterback completed only 15 of 38 passes for 153 yards, but he still got 2 touchdowns. The Wildcats will have Idaho State next Saturday for their last home game of the regular season. Out on the soccer pitch, the women's soccer team was so close to a huge upset over #1 NAU in the conference tournament. They fought to a 1-1 tie after the first overtime and forced a shootout. But NAU couldn't miss those penalty kicks, and the Wildcats saw their season end just short of the conference championship game. But don't you worry, there's a W for WSU yet. Here come the Cardiac Cats to bring us back to life as Weber State volleyball swept one and another as they took down Idaho and Eastern Washington 3-0. The Cardiac Cats are now 15-8 on the regular season with NAU and Northern Colorado coming up. And if you're still hungry for more, then you better get on to WeberStateSports.com.
You know, one of my favorite things about Weber Sports is seeing all those students who show up and support the teams.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, Garrett, there may even be some more students in these stands in the coming years. Let's take it to Grayson Moon and find out what he learned about Weber's enrollment rate.
Thank you. I'm here at the Miller Administration Building, which is next to the admissions office and is the headquarters of Weber State University.
Since 1964, Weber State has been an integral part of Utah's higher education landscape. Ever since Weber officially became a university in 1991, Weber enrollment has been on a steady trend upward. Now, Weber has its largest student body ever, with just under 30,000 students. I talked to Jessica Euler from the admissions office to find out why Weber enrollment has stayed so steady through the years.
Yeah, we've done a couple of things. Most of our growth has been with our high school dual enrollment students. So we've experienced exponential growth with those students who are still in high school taking college classes, and really that's what accounts for our gains.
Weber hopes that their concurrent enrollment and high school outreach programs continue to convince students to attend the university.
One of our biggest goals, like I mentioned just a second ago, is to take those 15,000 students that are taking a concurrent class and convince them to come to Weber.
I also talked to some students here at Weber and asked them what some major factors were in their decision to attend here.
they came to my high school one day when I was a senior, and I don't know, I liked what they were saying, and purple also happens to be my favorite color, so.
Weber's outreach program and focus on online classes has helped Weber to remain a great option for students looking for a university that fits them.
But what's been interesting is as we've come out of the pandemic, how much of our students really still want to have online classes. And so we're looking now, instead of just looking at a class that's online, looking at, okay, let's be super intentional about what programs we can grow to be online.
Weber officials hope to continue to see the student body grow. I'm Grayson Moon for Wildcat News.
Thanks, Grayson. Another growing population in Ogden is the voter turnout. In a recent count of voter turnout in Weber County, officials say there is a 22% increase as campaigning enters the final days. Rumors of an 80% or more overall turnout seems to be anticipated by Head of Elections Office, Lauren Schaefer.
Well, Utah Senator Mike Lee can add another well-known name to his list of re-election endorsements. Former Utah Governor John Huntsman released an ad supporting the current incumbent senator in his tight race against independent challenger Evan McMullin.
And now here's Kyle Housley for some more information on the election.
Welcome to the midterm elections. Here at the Weber Center, in-person voting has been ongoing for the past couple of days. While voting itself may sound like a complicated process, we have volunteers and officials who are here to help.
It's easy to vote. You can come in, if you're not registered, we can register you the day you come in, and you can vote.
Just make sure your voice is heard. It doesn't matter how much you know or don't know or how new you are to voting or to government. There are a lot of resources out there, and just research, ask your questions, and then go vote.
You can get your ballot in minutes, and if you need help, you can always ask for assistance.
If you have questions, ask them. Come in, ask your county clerk, come in, take a tour. We would love to have you come show you our process so you can have confidence that your elections are counted accurately and that they're secure.
Even though there isn't a president on the ballot this time, it doesn't mean that this election isn't important.
It's really important for people to vote, not only in the big elections, like the federal presidential elections, but every kind of election.
It really comes down to that. Like, everyone is allowed to vote here, including the people you don't agree with. So you have to make your voice heard, and it's just part of democracy.
It's very important for people to vote because they have an opportunity to share their thoughts and their feelings. No one can express your voice for you, so it's important for people to take the opportunity that they have as individuals to exercise their franchise and have their voice be heard. Be it for the majority or the minority, it's important for them to speak for themselves.
While this election is wrapping up, don't forget to get out and vote. Even if you don't vote in this election, you can still vote in next year's local elections or in 2024's presidential election. I'm Kyle Housley, reporting from Ogden, Utah.
Thanks so much, Kyle. I hope everyone had a happy election day. And thank you for tuning in to Wildcat News. I'm Jessica Kroc.
And I'm Garrett Lee. We'll see you again next week to fill you in on the news made by Wildcats for Wildcats. Good night.